Good luck. Alright guys, before we get into this, I want to lay out a quick ground rules here. So we're doing a hitbox video. Pretty much all games use hitboxes, so you can use what you learn here in pretty much any game. This video will be using Street Fighter V as the sort of the base for what we're going to be looking at here, for obvious reasons if you've been paying attention to my channel for the past couple of months. If you are using a hitbox viewer for a different game, it should still work. The colors may be different, but the principles are the same. So once you understand all this stuff, if you go back and look at the hitbox viewer for your personal game, you should be able to figure it out. One last thing I wanted to throw in before we start this is that I'm going to be running the entire game at 1/5 normal speed, okay? We're going to keep this nice and slow so it's super obvious, but not so slow that this takes 48,000 years to go through it. All right, let's get this underway, shall we? Alright, so the first thing we're going to look at here is the only instance of actual invisible properties. That's right, there is a hitbox in this game that doesn't exist. It's called Super Armor. The most commonly known version of the armor box is on Zangief's V-skill, so we're going to go ahead and use Zangief. So we're going to get him starting up on his V-skill and walking forward so that it's infinite. Okay, so when he moves forward to this V-skill, we all know he has 2 hits of invisible armor. And the reason I say is invisible is because take a look at his hitboxes. Do you see anything at all that might suggest that he's got 2 hits of some sort of armor on him? Because I sure as heck don't. We're going to have Ken throw out a Fierce Punch, and we're going to go ahead and frame by frame this so you can see what I'm talking about. So here comes the Fierce Punch, and there's the connection. So the attack has been applied, and you see no difference in his hitboxes. All Zangief's boxes still look exactly the same. And now the hit has been applied. This is the frame after the hit. And there's still nothing going on there. It's still pretty much the same. So now we're going to go ahead and throw out another Fierce Punch. And here it is again. So as you can see, absolutely nothing has changed. He's still the same. Now one more Fierce Punch if you wouldn't mind, please, Ken. And there it is. Zangief's got hit. And just nothing's changed. So that is the one property in this game that you will have to find out for yourself. The hitboxes don't show it. Alright, next we're going to cover probably the second simplest hitbox there is in the game, which is just that, the hitbox. This only requires a little bit of explanation simply because of the name. So the generic term of everything we're seeing here is the hitbox. So when a lot of people are talking about stuff, they a lot of times will say the hitboxes, but they don't mean the hitboxes. The problem there is they haven't been educated on what the different boxes are and what they're called, and so they tend to use the wrong terminology. Now, I'm guilty of that for the name of my videos. I call them all hitbox videos, and clearly they're more than just hitboxes. So, but what am I going to call it? Am I going to call it the boxes? Am I going to call it the hit / projectile / invuln / fire invuln boxes? Of course not. That's ridiculous. So when you're talking about these boxes in general, hitboxes is fine. But when you're trying to get to the nitty gritty of why you think a specific move is bad or good or whatever, you need to be a little bit more specific than just hitbox. So that's the only real complication with the hitbox. The actual hitbox itself, in terms of what we're learning here, breaking things down, is very simple. When somebody throws out an attack, like we're going to see right here, bam, that's it. See that big red rectangle on his fist there? That's a hitbox. Hitboxes will appear on appendages, on body parts. It just depends on what the move is. But a hitbox is just that. It's the area that if it touches the hurt box will promote pain, much pain. When the red touches the area that it is supposed to touch, it will either produce damage, stun, and hit stun, or if it is successfully blocked, it will apply block stun and pushback. Those are hitboxes. Quite simple. Throw boxes. Throw boxes are going to be even easier to explain than hitboxes because there's no weirdness explaining, terminology. A throw box is the exact same thing as a hitbox, it's just a throw instead. They are denoted by being blue. So anytime you see a big blue box come out, that is a grab, so you cannot block it. Whether or not it can be teched is completely dependent on the move itself. If it's a command grab, then absolutely not. If it's a regular grab, then absolutely so. There is no differentiation between those two. So teching is just something you're going to have to learn. Only works on regular throws, not command throws. And those are throw boxes. For a throw to activate, the throw box has to cross the plane of the area that it is supposed to cross, and we'll be covering those next.
My toes! My toes! My toes! My toes!
Hurt boxes. Okay, so now we get into the areas that cause pain. So hurt boxes are quite simply the area of your character's body that if it connects to a hitbox, The damage will be applied, or the block stun will be applied if you're blocking. So you see those light green boxes all around the character. This is how the game perceives your character's hurt boxes 90% of the time. They are green. Okay, so there are two other states that hurt boxes can be in. The second one is the projectile invuln hurt box. So the projectile invuln hurt box appears every time someone jumps and on specific moves. We're going to go ahead and use Vega as the example here. So when Vega starts up his V skill, the first thing you'll notice is that his green area almost completely disappeared. It's now only down by his knees. But you'll also notice that it's no longer green, it's red. Red is the color that indicates you are fireball invulnerable. So anytime you see any hurt box turn red for any part of any move, that area is completely invulnerable to fireballs. Perfect examples are this. Also, a lot of characters who have Rekka type moves, you'll notice that their hands when they come out have hurt boxes, but they are red, so they can get past fireballs a little bit easier. And also, pretty much everyone who jumps the lower half of their body is all a fireball invuln, to make it a little bit easier to jump in on fireballs. The last version of a hurt box is basically the only other invisible box in the game. So when your character is completely invulnerable to anything, their hurt box completely goes away. It's actually really hard to see at normal speed, which is one of the reasons I reduced the speed of these hitbox videos so you can see these. And you'll notice when Vega does his V skill, how his hurt box reduces down to his knees. That means his entire upper body, from the knees up, he is totally invulnerable. Another perfect example of this is Ryu's medium punch Shoryuken. So we're going to go ahead and have Ryu throw out his medium punch Shoryuken. Now you'll notice as soon as it activates, his hurt box completely disappears. That's why this move is so good as a reversal, because the starting frames of it are completely invulnerable. And those are invulnerable hurt boxes. So now we've got all three different versions of the hurt box explained. Hey, stop pushing me, bro. Hey, stop pushing me, bro. Stop it. Stop pushing. So the push box is the yellow rectangle within each character. This box does actually a couple of different things. So the first thing it does is it dictates that characters cannot cross through each other. That's why when two characters walk into each other and continue to walk into each other, they don't go through each other, because their two push boxes hit each other and push, right? That's also why you get corpse hops, because when you knock someone down, their push box goes flat, and if you can find a move where your push box lifts up off of the ground, then that's why your character will hop over them. That's also why you can dash people into the corner, because their push box is still there even though it's low to the ground. Your push box is still there as well, so if you push into them, you will push them back. The other important thing that the push box is responsible for is cross-ups. The push boxes, when they go over each other, is how the computer knows to reverse inputs and flip the character models around. So that's where you want to look for cross-ups. If you can find red hitboxes that go beyond your push box behind you, that's what gives you a cross-up. The last thing that push boxes are responsible for is throws. When you put out a throw, the throw box must connect to the push box for the actual throw to come out, not the hurt box. This is why you need to be pretty close if you're going to do a throw.
Perfect.
So the block proximity box is this big ugly box that pops out of your character's arms or their attacks of any kind. You see them in every single move. We're throwing out moves here. You can see them. They're those really long, those very horizontal boxes that stick out. So what these do is a little different. They don't hurt you in any way. They don't set you up for anything weird. What they do is when this box crosses over your character's hurt box, it tells the computer the next time the defending character pushes back, they're not going to walk, they're going to trigger their block animation. So these are important to know, because if you understand the distances on them, you know how far away you can be to still get away with walking backwards without being frozen into your block animation. So those are important to know as well.
Hadouken!
Now, projectile hitboxes are fairly simple, but there is something else that needs to be explained about them. There are two types of projectile hitboxes, actually. When Ryu or Ken throw out a fireball here, the little red block inside the fireball is the projectile hitbox. When the projectile hitbox connects to your green hurt box, you will either take damage, or if you were blocking, get put into block stun. There is one other type of projectile hitbox, and I actually call it a projectile box, because it doesn't actually hit. A perfect example of this is both Karen and Akali. Necalli's is a little more obvious and easy to see, so we'll use his first. Now, when you do his discs, whatever, his sonic boom, his berserker claw, or his berserker claw, you see this giant orange rectangle covering his entire body. That is a projectile box. If you touch the enemy with this box, it will do no damage. However, if any projectile hits this box, it will nullify the projectile hitbox and allow him to continue forward without being slowed down or bothered with it. So that's why this move is so good at rushing right through fireballs. The other example that I was going to go ahead and use is Karen. As you can see, when Karen does her Rekkas in V-Skill, the Gurenken, she has two hitboxes if you look very closely. There is a lighter colored projectile box, and there is the darker colored red hitbox. So the orange box does not actually hit. It allows her to blow past projectile users and still get her hit with the red hitbox. So you should always keep an eye out for overlapping boxes. Alright, Internet, that's it for the Understanding Hitboxes. I hope this helped out. If you have any questions that you feel like weren't answered in this video, please drop them in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer them. I didn't cover frame data because this isn't about frame data. There are plenty of tutorials on frame data. I personally would suggest checking out Ultra Chen TV on YouTube, and James Chen has put out a good little collection of videos explaining how frame data works and why it's important to pay attention to, especially for this game. Enjoy my upcoming hitbox videos, and look forward to me actually playing video games again. You know, my whole first season was me playing video games, and so far this entire second season has just been me doing these hitbox videos. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to doing that thing people do called play video games. Yeah, I've heard about it. I hear it's fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I hope you enjoy watching me get blown up and get angry at stuff. That's it for today, Internet. Johnny, bye-bye.